Oh boy, it looks like we ended up on this nightmare dream out of them all. So, even after all we explored through a whole abundance of good dreams here and there, like exploring Toy Town and, going through the outer skies, or anything else to be more specific, but now we ended up on the forms of everything else entirely in lava, and also some crazy traps involved in there too. So, hey, what's up everyone, it is I am the one and only Mighty the Armadillo here, and I am of course back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys here. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario Party 5 for the Nintendo GameCube. So last weekend is the fact that we have managed to able to win through Sweet Dream, and overall I did manage to actually have ourselves a really good time in Sweet Dream, despite the actual bridge section. But regardless of everything else though, I don't find that much of an issue with those bridges sections. So because of this though, unlike in Bowser's Gnarly Party in Mario Party 4, that those bridges can be a bit of a problematic, I must say for this much. So yeah, for this entire weekend is the fact that we are heading off to the finale board in terms of Mario Party 5. That's what appears to be Bowser Nightmare. And as I mentioned this before, ever since the very beginning of this Let's Play in general, that this is actually the unlockable board, and to unlock this board, it's by simply you complete story mode for the first time, and that's pretty much how you can go for this point. You know, just like in Mario Party 3, for both Waluigi's Island and Backtrack, and even especially noticeable with the forms of, in Mario Party 4 for the likes of Bowser's Gnarly Party, and same applies for the forms of the solo mode in Journey forms of, well, let's just say in Journey forms of Mario Party 7, and of course Star Battle Arena for Bowser's World Orbit in Mario Party 8. But then again, we'll talk more about those in the future. So either way though, honestly, out of all the actual finale boards, even for the entire board selections in Mario Party 5, I will say this is by far my least favorite board in this game. Nothing bad or anything, it's just that, well, the reason why, that it feels kind of uninspired, or in this case, kind of unremarkable compared to the forms of the finale boards from the past Mario Party games. Like, to be more specifically, I really do like the forms of, like, let's just take a look back on the past 3, or actually 4 Mario Party games to be more specific, or technically 3, because obviously Mario Party 3 does not have a Bowser-themed board, because obviously Waluigi's Island is actually the most uniquest board in the entire game, just because, well, it's nothing related to Bowser board, so because of that, it's all entirely related to Waluigi and stuff like that, which I give the actual game a lot more credit for it, so I can at least expect that. So, because yeah, compared to the forms of Bowser's Magma Mountain from Mario Party 1, that at least I found that board to be a pretty good board, despite the forms of this luck-based event that you have to deal with the dice rolls in order to be able to go either the safe zone or the negative zone, or to be more specifically, the shortcuts and the forms of the long pathway. And yeah, that's the only problematic I feel like for Bowser's Magma Mountain. And also during the forms of that board, that if you land on a happening space, everything else will turn into red spaces. The only few exceptions being, of course, happening spaces, mushroom spaces, and chance time spaces. So, you know, every single blue spaces will turn into red spaces for sure. Well, at least assuming if the volcano just managed to erupt in itself. And also in the forms of Mario Party 2 in Bowser Land, I find that's actually a really cool board, despite the forms of the item minigame and the duel minigame can be a bit luck-based, which as a result, although most of these features in Bowser Land is actually pretty cool, like, you know, the Bowser Parade system every time when 5 turns has been passed, and yeah, that's pretty much how this goes. And, oh, there's actually a reference for you from the likes of Mario Party 1, Bowser's Magma Mountain, except the fact that rather than just having the forms of the entire Magma Mountain interrupted and basically turned every single blue spaces into red spaces, because as you can see, what Waluigi just landed on, this appears to be body forms of Bowser's Walk Tour. And because of this though, this allows Bowser to just go to the other side of the board while able to actually get onto the exact same section while on the right and vice versa. And basically he turns several of those blue spaces into red spaces. So yeah, it's very similar to Bowser's Magma Mountain from Mario Party 1. And also during that time is the fact that, oh, looks like Wario just managed to land on the DK space. Do apologize for the actual throat for this point, guys, because I know it has been quite a few days since I actually did manage to come back into this ever since in the last weekend. So because of this though, because any forms of in Bowser Land in Mario Party, that was a draw, and because of this though, draw doesn't count. So sorry Wario, but better luck next time. Especially noticeable about the fact that, well, eventually speaking is the fact that the next Wario Land Let's Play in the future, like, you know, specifically Wario Land 3 should be up at some point during September as well, after completing Super Wario Land 2 recently, so, there's not much right to home about, honestly. So, and of course, much like in any other Mario Party Let's Plays since Mario Party 3, and, you know, NT-Cube Mario Party titles for sure, like, you know, Mario Party 9, Island Tour, 10, Star Rush for Balloon Bash, map number 1, and to top it off, minigame match in the top 100, and Super Mario Party, that's, basically I was able to pick. Well, I'm obviously going to be selecting Mario for the actual player 1, and the rest of the computer players are both Luigi and Wario, ever since in, well, let's just say in Future Dream, that the last time we saw them. And of course, we brought back Waluigi as a computer player ever since in, well, Sweet Dream, despite the fact that I did manage to able to already play as him, so, yeah, there's not much else I can honestly try to think about it, so... I digress, so let's go ahead and just get started with 2-bit or lose it minigame. In fact, it was actually kind of easy with the team of 1, because otherwise I'll just simply just reverse back, and wow. Those two just managed to able to stand there and just get stuck in the process, which I just have no idea why they just managed to do this in the process. But oh well, no big deal, but at least I still managed to win anyway, so anyway, another Bowser-themed board I was going to compare to is, obviously Bowser's Gnarly Party, although despite the fact that there won't be any bridges involved this time around, but at least there is actually some plentiful of those, you know, hazards involved. Like, for instance, we've already mentioned about one of those happening spaces, as you saw from about a few minutes ago, which is, of course, turning blue spaces into red spaces, as you can see, due to the forms of this Bowser Walk. And, while you get involved on this particular walking event, basically, if Bowser managed able to try to flatten you, basically it'll try to take your 10 coins away. So even then though, yeah, try not to get involved in all that stuff though, because otherwise you will lose coins instantly. But thankfully he always goes onto this particular row over there, which, as a result, well, it's a good thing that Waluigi did manage to stop Wario for able to obtain, you know, the star. So because of this, though, I'm probably not going to use my coin block yet, though, but at least I got an 8, so I should be cool for my style. So anyway, few things we want to explain about for this point today is that obviously today's day is of course the 24th of July today, in this case in 2021. And it looks like that, until next week anyway, that we already got to the point where we're pretty much almost nearly at the end in terms of July this year. So because of this though, and eventually we'll move on to the forms of the 8th month, which is of course August, so expecting to be hyped about the forms of something else to be more specific, so... And of course I got a bubble, so this means in addition to able to make me go forward for about 10 spaces forward, but also I'll lose 2 capsules, so I might be alright with that. Especially noticeable because, well, you probably know what I'm talking about. And of course, this will be the final time we're going to be seeing those capsules in this particular mode. Well, not necessarily the final time just yet, though, just because, well, until whenever I show you guys a sample of the actual story mode, that you're still able to utilize the capsule system on the story mode. But then again, we'll talk more about it until then, so... And here's another happening space right there. Basically, you can either pick either the blue box or the red box. It predetermines by random. It's like a 50-50 chance that it usually costs two different effects. Like, one of them is actually... Oh, there's the another battle mini game. Oh, jeez. I do apologize for the actual tongue twisting in the end, folks. I do apologize for that. So, anyway, so this time we are dueling for 5 coins. So, and, actually, no matter what, though, I'm gonna pick this. But since that the mini game on the left has not picked at all, so this is a good thing because this is a new mini game. Twist and out. Stay in the eye of the tornado and don't get knocked outside. The last one standing wins. So basically it's the fact that we have to use the hammer and then basically just try to able to knock opponents on the edge of the actual tornado itself. Or to be more specifically, the actual flower garden. So yeah, there's not much else I can say about this minigame, obviously. It's just another survival minigame, so hopefully I can able... Oh wow, Warrior just instantly got knocked out instantly. That's pretty incredible, I have to say. Which, even then though, I can expect this much. Alright, so you and me, you two. In this case, both Luigi. Well, me and Waluigi for this point right now, so... Oh! Oh, it's so close! No! Ah! Darn you. Darn you, Waluigi. You're able to actually just to win this, even though it's like a 5 coin battle minigame, so what's the point? But anyway, another thing I just want to explain, in terms of this particular discussion to make, recently I did manage to able to pick up quite a number of items for the sake of this point today, because, you know, I can now finally go on to shopping and stuff like that. So first of all, I did manage to pick up, in terms of some of these retro items here and there, that will have to be by the forms of, Nintendo 64 Blue controller. Because why? Well, because of the forms of related to Sonic the Hedgehog, so I thought to myself, yeah, I might as well able to obtain a blue N64 controller, because, well, it just looks kind of nice though, I have to say for this much. And, I haven't tested out for this point yet though. Well, at least whenever I get back into, let's just say Banjo-Tooie, if I was going to practice that game before we do the actual Let's Play of, you know, Banjo-Tooie at some point, during the forms of specifically until September as well, then basically I'll test it out until then. Oh, speaking of the another reference for ya, there's another reference over there, especially how Wario just managed to land on another happening space. And basically what this does is that you ended up getting trapped in the forms of this circle zone. And basically, just like in the forms of in Mario Party 2, that's in Bowser Land, the only way you can get out of there is by simply you're gonna have to able to just, well, God forbid, try to land on the happening space and just get the heck out of here. Because otherwise, if it gets to the point until the last 5 turn event, like, you know, that one time that we already saw, you know, all these red spaces into Bowser spaces, then basically this might actually be hellish for you if you managed able to come across into that specific, you know, hellish event. So, yeah, that's something worth noting for. So, and of course that, there's also technically another reference to something related to Mario Party 4 in Bowser's Nolly Party. Well, aside from missing those bridges section, because thank goodness for that, we don't need to deal with those. But there's also another happening space on the very top of the actual Castle Tower fort. That basically what this does is that Bowser will able to actually use this little flamethrower contraption, and basically what this does, you know about the forms of in Bowser's Nolly Party board, that basically about the fact that if you try to land on a happening space on that board, basically your items will be burned if you manage to get burned by the flamethrower, by the forms of Bowser's statue head. But this time around in Mario Party 5, you get burned by the actual flamethrower machine. So, and basically this allows you to able to get your capsules or items burned. So, yeah, it's pretty standard stuff for the most part, but it's just that, well, again, the only thing I found this to be, well, I found that Bowser Nightmare to be one of the most weakest board in the game in my opinion, especially noticeable with the forms of the finale board of how this game offers us to. It's just the fact that there's not much, you know, gosh darn traps this time around. Well, at least they got quite a few traps, but that's pretty much about it. And also, it just feels kind of unremarkable compared to the forms of the previous Bowser-themed boards in the Mario Party's past. But that's just in my opinion. But because of this though, all they really do is just basically, they just keep on, referencing some of the previous Bowser-themed boards in the past. Like, I already mentioned about 3 of these things, potentially, so you probably get the idea how this is going. So, nothing bad or anything, it just feels a bit unremarkable compared to the previous Bowser-themed boards, but that's just me. Alright, so we're on turn 5, so... And I'm guessing, according to the forms of the instruction booklet, even though despite the fact that this board is not mentioned during the forms of the instruction manual, because, well... As I said this before, this is the unlockable board, and if I recall correctly, this board might actually be the 3-star difficulty. Well, at least what if I just try to mention about that stuff though, but it knows what it is. Alright, so here's another Bowser event, so let's see what event are we going to be doing with. Oh, wait a second. Oh, it happened again! When it comes to DK, managed to try to punch Bowser. Oh yeah, talking with this event actually, according to the forms of Mario Party Legacy video, they did manage to able to done the Rare Oddities video series. He did mention this event right there, and basically it only sometimes triggers quite randomly, and also at the same time, it's all about the elevation, which this meaning about the fact that it can't be like elevated higher enough because it needs to be somewhat flat, and especially noticeable because obviously if it does manage to able to like, well, imagine if I was landing on the red space and then obviously when the Bowser space showed up during the forms of that staircase on the actual red space I just landed on, basically what that means is that the DK punches Bowser event does not trigger on the staircase because of the elevation, so something's worth noting for, especially noticeable because that event is ultra rare as it is, which, surprisingly enough, I actually come across into that event twice for this Let's Play, which is kind of surprising, honestly, even though despite during forms of, well, I don't know about the forms of 2012 original Let's Play of the game, just because, again, that Let's Play is no longer there just because of... Well, you probably only know but what I'm saying for this point, so because of this though, I don't suppose we actually come across into that event at all during the course of 2012, at least if I'm guessing this correctly, so, but I digress. So, another thing it's worth talking about is the fact that you notice about the fact that ever since yesterday, that we actually did manage to saw the forms of the opening ceremony in terms of Tokyo 2020, or should I say, Tokyo 2021 Olympic Games opening ceremony for this point recently yesterday, and, that's actually pretty cool, even though despite the fact that with the actual global pandemic at the moment, but, at least I can able to still enjoy watching some of these, sports in action later on today, which, unfortunately I can't talk about that at the moment, but I'll let some toys else mention about that during the course of, well, let's just say during the forms of, Klonoa Empire of Dreams, or, Pac-Man World 3, as what some toys else are tackling through, so, yeah, you probably get a suggestion. And by the way, if you ever play this on story mode, basically it's the fact that, you remember when I mentioned this earlier about one of those happening spaces that, you remember in the forms of that, in this particular happening space I mentioned with the flamethrower machine, that basically if you get involved in that event, basically it burns out all of your capsules. Well, if you ever play this board on story mode, basically it actually takes away coins instead. So because of this though, something's worth noting for the sake of this differences anyway between these two modes, which, even then we'll talk more about the forms of story mode until specifically next weekend, or should I say, let's just say the final day of July, so, yeah, that could be something, alright. And of course we're doing Bus Buffer again, so in this case though we're able to actually once again clean up the actual bus, and it looks like we are doing Mario Brothers versus the Wario Brothers, so that seems kind of top notch for the sake of that team, so anyways, let's get this thing cleaning. And another thing is worth mentioning is the fact that in addition to able to got myself the N64 blue controller I just managed to got, I also managed to got myself the another Sonic game, which after the events of this most recent video, ever since about a month ago, you remember when we did manage to done our video game collection video, something related to Sonic the Hedgehog's 30th anniversary special, that it turns out that we actually missing one game in particular for the Game Gear, which, talking of which, I've managed to finally obtain Sonic Chaos for the Sega Game Gear. Well, at least in the original cartridge version at least. Well, at least despite the fact that I haven't touched upon my Game Gear for quite some time just because of sound problems, which I think might be something to do with the actual compactor, and also the LCD screen, even with the forms of the lack of backlit light. So unfortunately though, I can't really see what is going on during my screen. So because of that though, I might try to sort this out at some point in the future, but unfortunately not now though, just because, well, we are playing a Mario Party game, of course, even something retro-based, rather than, you know, the most recent installments with, you know, Super Mario Party's online update, but you probably get the idea about that, so yeah, it looks like Wario just managed to escape from this particular Circle Devil Zone, and basically that's the only way you can get out of there, so I don't think there was any star space on that specific, you know, the Circle Zone this time around, unlike the ones in Mario Party 2, that there are rare occasions in Bowser Land that in the forms of that one particular star space just managed able to... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'm actually gonna learn on this particular long drawn out animation happening space right there, so yeah, let's do it. Fine, I'll take away 10 coins as it is. Fine by me. But thankfully the DK space does not get affected on the actual red space, so because DK was a good guy, of course. Even though despite the fact that you can't actually play as him in this game, although there was that one particular mode that we can able to play as him, but then again, we'll talk more about that once we get into the forms of next weekend, along with story mode. So because of this though, excuse me, I'm really sorry about this point, folks, because I just need to sort something out with my stuck up throat, but at least I'm still fine as it is, so don't you worry. So, at least the music is kind of nice, I suppose, but aside from that, I'm just not too pleased with this board. Although, don't get me wrong, it's nothing bad, it's just that it feels kind of underwhelming to me, because, well, I'd much rather prefer playing Bowser Land for the sake of, you know, the Bowser Parade, and the forms of Bowser's Magma Mountain for the sake of, like, chaotic moments like, well, as I say, a whole bunch of chance times screwing you up, occasionally, depending on dice rolls, and, oh, can we get Berry Basket? Can we get Berry Basket? Ah! Oh well. At least we can able to actually collect even more coins from the likes of banking coins, at least. But anyway, and also I much rather prefer playing, let's just say the finale board in Mario Party 7, which, I must be honest here, and also, Chaos Castle from the likes of Mario Party 10, despite the fact that Bowser's name wasn't even on that particular board. But aside from the forms of that, you know, the car mechanic, which most people are not a big fan of, but it's very understandable because, obviously, because no one cares about the forms of travel into one particular vehicle in mind. At least in Island Tour, you can able to actually travel individually, but it's still a linear board. So because of this though, rather than just all about, you know, exploration and stuff like that, so I guess that might be short something, so... And oh boy, we actually got ourselves 20 coins, and meanwhile for both Wario and Luigi managed to both got like quite a number of coins, so... Well, I would say 12 coins or something. Even then, I wasn't paying attention because I just got distracted by, you know, a lot of conversations during the course of, well, for today's schedules, as far as I'm concerned. And it looks like Waluigi makes it out because, well, I just get the feeling that he might able to actually just go onto the same space as me. Oh, I know why, because he might try to go after the actual star, like I was gonna be racing towards it. So, another thing it's worth talking about is that, recently, until tomorrow anyway, that, Cap King 74, aka Stuart, basically he will be, I would say 22 tomorrow. So because of this though, it might be a perfect opportunity to celebrate, my, friend's birthday, to be more specifically Cap King 74, but, unfortunately, due to this whole, you know, stupid pandemic is going on, so because of that, though, we can't able to actually host a party or anything. But as long as he could able to obtain Super Mario Party on the Nintendo Switch, and that way we can able to play online to each other, which that would be a cool idea, but I haven't, you know, heard of him quite some time at this point, just because still the last uploading schedule that he did done is, of course, Pikmin 3 Deluxe announcement trailer, and that's pretty much about it, so... And it looks like I've got myself 2 stars so far, and, dang it, I land on a happening space, and you can't able to actually, choose no on this section, so because of that, though, you're forced to able to deal with this, so... Oh yeah, about with this event right there, basically, as you can tell that the lightning strikes onto me, this what actually allows me to able to lose half of my coins, so that could be pretty deadly though. And also another one of those blocks we're able to do to you is that it actually takes you back to the start of the board, so yeah, it kind of feels like similar to the forms of, let's just say in the Goomba's, Greedy Gullah in one of those sections that basically if you manage to able to beat Goomba in the highest dice roll, if you manage to able to get not only 10 coins but also you can able to continue your progression for that, you know, certain sections in Goomba's Greedy Gullah, but if you don't, then it actually takes you back to the beginning of the board. And that could be also the same applies by the forms of in Pirate Land in Mario Party 2, that basically if you manage to get blasted onto the forms of those cannonball fire shots, basically it actually takes you also back to the start, so... And also the same applies by the forms of Western Land as well, from Mario Party 2, that if you get involved with the actual train track, basically that you also get knocked out, and you're probably gonna go back to the beginning of the board as well, so... Yeah, that's something worth noting for, especially noticeable there are some similarities from there, so but I will say, the actual board itself does look a bit nice, but it's just that, again, I just found this to be kind of unremarkable to me, but that's just me anyway. Oh yeah, something's worth mentioning for is that, yes, after when, you know, a few turns has been finished, then basically some of these red spaces are turned back into the usual blue spaces, so... Yeah, it's very similar to, you know, Bowser's Magma Mountain from Mario Party 1. So except the fact that it doesn't usually covers all over the place with those red spaces. The only time they only do it is, of course, the left section we're able to go onto the middle part of the actual board, and then on the right side it actually goes into the bottom section of the board, or almost right near to the start, and then just go all the way to the left, and that's pretty much about it. So yeah, there's not much else I can say apart from the fact that I've already mentioned about quite a number of things for this point today, so at least that's kind of alright, and especially noticeable because obviously that... Oh, what's this? Ah, it's the paratrooper. And I just should have known. Even then though, if Luigi managed to able to land on that chain chomp space, I would bet that he will able to actually steal a star from me, because after all he got... You know, 49 coins so far. I'm pretty sure that he was actually in the coin star lead at the moment, which is, of course, at the moment is actually 49, so I definitely need to able to concentrate on coin star as it is for the time, so hopefully I'll try to work onto that. So, yeah, there goes my 15 coins, so that's just great. Alright, once again, 1 vs 3 minigame again, even though we've already played every single 1 vs 3 minigames for sure, so there's no point for able to, you know, mention about this kind of things itself like this again. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and do Revolving Fire again. So, hopefully, I should be able to actually just to win this again. I'm quite surprised that we still haven't, you know, played that much of dual minigames, but thankfully until the story mode that we'll, again, we'll discuss on that until specifically next weekend, that basically we can able to just show off quite a few amounts of those dual minigames that we have not played yet, so, but anyway, oh goodness gracious me. Oh jeez, okay. Oh jeez, I only got 4 seconds left. Oh, that was close. I almost gonna get myself screwed over after this one touch of this flamethrower, but thankfully that doesn't seem the case. Whew. But anyway, I've got about 23 coins so far, and, well, I get the feeling that Luigi is definitely gonna be on the actual coin star lead at the moment. In fact, how much coins does Luigi get? 62. So, oh wow, we're on turn 10 already. So speaking of 10, there you go. For the sake of that enormous dice roll. Now I'm quite surprised that we're pretty much almost at the halfway point in terms of Bowser Nightmare, because, well, aside from the fact that there's not much events going on for this point, aside from occasional, long drawn-out, walking scene, but, aside from all that stuff, though, we can probably expect able to finish this board during time, well, at least for the most part. And it looks like Wario just got the coin block. And in fact, the matter is though, talking of those specific coin blocks / hidden blocks, these will be the absolute final time we're going to be seeing those hidden blocks in the actual Mario Party Let's Play of Marathons, I'm afraid, because, well again, until Mario Party 6, 7, and 8, then we can't able to actually see those hidden blocks anymore, so it's kind of sad that these things will make it gone. Or, to be more specifically, that's to let those hidden blocks will gone forever. Well, until Mario Party DS roll around, and Super Mario Party, they did manage able to bring back the hidden blocks, which is pretty much, yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. There's not much else I can talk about, so... Alright, so it looks like Luigi just managed able to warp to Waluigi. I'm guessing because he really wants to get that star, so in this case, has he got it? Yes, he did. So that gives Luigi some bit of strategy right here, so at least that might be some sort of like a good thinking scenario. But hey, at least I'll give Luigi some credit for it, that he actually did pretty alright. Even though despite the fact that he wasted about 30 coins so far. Oh, dang, it looks like the next star space is, like, almost right near to where Luigi is. Oh, wait. I believe that Waluigi will be able to use the warp pipe until he able to actually switch places to Luigi until the next turn, so I get the feeling from that. Alright, Flower Shower again, so there's not much else to say about this minigame, so... It feels like we're playing this minigame a lot of times so far for the sake of this Let's Play so far, but still, I don't mind this at all, even though it feels a bit, you know, samey every once in a while, but still, I can't deny about that. Alright, so let's collect some more flowers, even though despite the fact that spring is already over for the sake of this year until specifically 2022, so we can expect this much anyway, so... A lot of you guys are probably thinking about the fact that, aren't you gonna do Sonic Shuffle Let's Play? Well, I would like to, but unfortunately though, we're still having some issues with our, you know, Sega Dreamcast at the moment, to be more specifically with this stupid random resetting problem. Well, I was gonna fix that, but I did try it out, but unfortunately though, it was a miserable failure attempt. And because of this though, I was trying to able to get ourselves the right equipment to able to actually fix my Dreamcast's, you know, random resetting problem. Although the actual machine still works, like the power still works, and the game discs, as far as I got at the moment, Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Shuffle, Rayman 2 The Great Escape, still managed to work really dang well, despite the forms of Tony Hawk's skateboarding back in during the forms of last year, that from what I've heard from Sonic and Daffy Duck, they having some problems trying to able to read that game on the Dreamcast. Mainly it's because I don't know if this might be something to do with the actual the data storage for well, GD-ROM, like some sort of like a game. Well, I have no idea why I'm saying things for this point right now, but Anyway, oh boy, we actually got ourselves a chain jump. So in this case, I think I should probably steal a star from Luigi. I know I felt a little bit too hypocritical at this point, but who cares about that, because I really do need to win the finale board in Mario Party 5, so that way I can able to win all 7 boards in this game. So, which reminds me, this game does have 7 boards, just like in Mario Party 9 also has 7 boards as well, and Mario Party Island Tour also has 7 boards as well, at least 6 playable ones in a single player mode, and then, well, 7 if you ever play this with up to 3 players and stuff like that, or 4, because obviously, you know, Shy Guys Shuffle City just managed to able to just, you know, basically they just managed to able to just... Wait a second. Oh, at first I thought he's gonna switch to me, but apparently he did manage to switch to Waluigi instead. I see how this is going, huh? But I would expect that Waluigi will able to get himself his first star anyway, so... Yeah, anyway, because, you know, with the forms of Shy Guys Shuffle City, that particular board will be not be playable on single player or 2 player modes, because obviously, you know, you can't play that mode with computer players, because otherwise with the actual programming and such, well, at least if I'm guessing that correctly, but regardless of anything else though, it's just the fact that it requires, you know, 3 human players in order to able to play that specific board, even though that it would have appreciated if Las Vegas Teddy were able to tackle that specific board, but sadly he did pass away, so because of that though, since 2020, so because of, you know, stupid COVID and everything, which, that reminds me that White Teddy also dies, for what I've heard, that during the course of Christmas 2020 unboxing video because of the stupid COVID anyway. But let's not mention about that stupid word ever again, because otherwise we're actually having ourselves a nice day at the moment, because as you can tell, we're playing Coney Island again, so at least I can able to get ourselves a whole bunch of, well, I would say 7 ice cream scoops, so that way I can able to get my nice delicious treatment for the sake of summer when it comes to ice creams dessert. Like, seriously, that minigame always reminds me like I was on holiday and stuff like that. Well, for summer vacation anyway, so that's pretty much a nice touch right there. Alright, so looks like Waluigi is definitely gonna get himself his first star for sure. Because obviously he managed to get himself this nice high roll right there. Oh yeah, one more thing before I'm able to actually just to get on with the forms of the majority of this board. This actually took me quite a few attempts by able to actually do the actual commentary. Well, thankfully in the actual, the in-game, recording session works just fine. No technical hiccups here and there. Well, aside from the lack of 60 frames per second option, which I could have wished I was gonna have that, but I'm just gonna skip that for now. But basically, I was gonna able to do this on my first attempt on commentary, but things doesn't go well enough, mainly due to my microphone has some problems again, and also I've been stuttering for about a few seconds notice. So this will be a lot better than the forms of how it does on my first attempt for this recording session, so hopefully that should be the case. So, and it looks like that Wario, he's now pretty much stuck in this particular circular zone again, so he'll be trapped in there for quite some time now. I get the feeling that Wario might able to actually get the happening star for sure, even though, mind you, I've only just landed on 2 happening spaces so far. At least for I'm guessing it correctly. Shoot, I'm only off by 1 coin to able to actually get that star. Although, I wasn't rich, I was expecting to able to use my coin block, so that way I can able to get a whole bunch of coins, and that leads me up to 24 coins, but unfortunately I was too late. Hey, oh well, no big deal, but hey, at least Luigi's gonna use himself the Klepto capsule for himself, and he's gonna be joining along with Wario on this particular circular, infamous circular, well, zone. And he's pretty much gotten 1. So if that seems to be the case, we'll hit on to the forms of, well, 2 versus 2 minigame right here. So let's see how this goes, hey? Ah, still so close to able to play Berry Basket, but we're still literally that close. But hey, at least we can able to do another set of ridiculously button mashing skills. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so at least we're on the lead, so even though I was expecting if I was gonna do this on hard mode to be up for the challenge, but I really refuse, because, well, until when it gets to the minigame modes, then, basically I would be able to set those computer players on hard mode, so, just have some fun with minigames and all that stuff. But, either way, that's that, and, well, it looks like we're pretty much almost at the end of this board for almost straight away.